Hello and welcome to Laker Connections. I'm Aaron Valentino, filling in for Cole Parzik. I'm joined tonight by my co-host Ben Grieco and our moderator and analyst for the night, Matt Watling. Guys, how are you?
Oh, I'm fan-freaking-tastic. I don't know
I'm
about
pretty
you,
good.
Matt.
Excited to be here.
Excited to have you here, Matt.
Thank you, Ben.
Oh, you're welcome.
All right, without further ado, let's get right into some Lakers hockey. The Lakers had a first-round bye in this year's NCAA tournament and faced Hobart in the quarterfinals at the Marano Campus Center Ice Arena. The Lakers lost that game by a score of 3-2, ending their season and hopes of winning the second championship in school history. Guys, what happened in that loss against Hobart?
You know, from what I saw, they beat themselves. It wasn't the other way around in Hobart necessarily being the better team, but they took advantage of some of the mistakes Oswego State made. Oswego had multiple breakaways allowed that ended up being goals, and their play all around was good aside from a few mistakes, as Coach Gosick described.
Defensively, I thought we did a decent job. Accurate, 15 shots. Really can't ask anything more with our team defense. I thought, they had a few heavy shifts, but I thought we kept them to the perimeter, kept the grade A's down, and I'm not sure what we would do differently, quite frankly. It's just you have to make your breaks. If they did.
I got to kind of agree and disagree. I thought the defense did well from a standpoint where they only allowed 15 shots. But at the same time, they allowed 2 breakaway goals. I mean, you can't put that on Richer either,
No, not at all.
And Richer said in the press conference later, he goes, as a goaltender, you can't make mistakes. I made 3 tonight. Or, well, that night, not tonight. But he made 3 mistakes that night. And honestly, I don't know if I can 100% agree with that because Hobart got ahead of Devin Campbell that first goal.
Yeah, but also you look at the season overall, and you see it here on the full screen. Richer did not have a good year. Last year, he was a historically great goaltender, and this year he struggled with rebound control. There were a lot of goals where you said he wants that one back, and you see it there. Goals against, 0.7 higher, his save percentage a lot lower, and he just didn't have a great season, and I think you can kind of hear the frustration in his voice throughout every press conference. The one after Geneseo loss, and then the one here. I think he knew he needed to be better.
And honestly, I think the big thing is that Richer, at least last year watching the team, Cedric Hansen that is, looked a lot more, I guess, maybe chaotic. He looked like he was jumping around, really trying to make the big saves. Richer looked a lot calmer. I thought it flipped this year. Richer looked like he was really kind of swarming around, scrambling, and like you said, the rebound control was a big issue, and he just, every time it hit the pads, it seemed to go really astray, and we never really had that rebound control that we would have wanted.
That's great, guys. The Lakers overall had a successful season going 19-7-2, coming in second in the SUNYAC behind Geneseo and earning an at-large bid once again to the NCAA tournament. Before falling to Hobart, what are your guys' takeaway from the season as a whole?
I think I'm one of the few that thinks this was a bit of a failed season.
I can agree with that.
You look at who they lost. The only person you lose is Mitch Hurley, the captain, but he's replaced by a guy like Anthony Pissarro, even Travis Broman, some really big, key depth guys that you didn't have last year. And impact ones, especially the freshmen, and we talked about Richer struggling. Aside from that, I expected them to at least win one national title game in the playoffs.
I can agree with that, and this freshman class was unique because they have 14 juniors this year, going to be seniors next year. They're only losing 4 seniors this year. They brought in so many guys. They even brought someone in at the halfway mark in Jeff Solo. So you have all these guys that all of a sudden are trying to fight for a spot. You have at least 10 scratches a game. And that's going to mess with a lot of people's rhythm. You lose 3 or 4 guys at the halfway mark, people transferring, people just leaving the sport because they just aren't making a name for themselves. Tyson Bruce goes to Canton. Robert Clare goes to Potsdam. He didn't even play a game with the Lakers when he left. Jesse Farabee, not Joel Farabee, that's his brother. Jesse Farabee leaves. He's not playing hockey anymore. Aaron Hoffnagel obviously left due to academic reasons. But you have all these guys that just weren't making it. And this freshman class really stepped up, and I thought Travis Broman, he had 23 points, 13 goals, 10 assists, 3 power play goals. The only thing he needs to do is improve on his power forward status.
Yeah, and you look at it, and I think this coming year, pending recruits and transfers, this is their last real shot to win a national title. You look at the rising seniors that they have. There's 14 of them, and they're so important. It's guys like Zizek. It's these
Who
really
needs to
incredible
improve?
players.
Zizek needs to improve a lot.
Yeah, it's Zyzik. Pelnick really came into his own the last half of the season. Tyler Curry, one of the bigger players on the team, and I believe Max Novick is on there, or rather, he's a sophomore now. But a lot of these guys, Derek Brown, a D1 transfer. There's so many talented players.
I want Joseph Molinaro to also step up. But his beginning of the season was amazing. He had the hat trick. He did all this stuff. I want him to get better and be more consistent throughout the season.
Right.
That's hands down.
Yeah, but after this, you just lose all these guys. I don't know where you rebuild from there.
I don't think you do. Honestly, you lose all these guys. I think you need to just rebuild, and maybe you rely on maybe transfers for once. That Oswego State doesn't do that a ton, but maybe bring in some guys for transfers, because that's where a lot of teams are going, like Plattsburgh, Wisconsin. That's what they're all doing.
Really quickly, before we go to break, moving forward, what are the expectations for the Lakers next season? Do you guys think they can get back into the NCAA tournament even after the loss of seniors Devin Campbell, Cam Berry, Christopher Brunn, and Josh Nenadal?
I think so.
Yeah, I think, again, you win at least one game or not.
100%.
And that wraps up hockey season for us, but don't go anywhere, because when we come back, Ben and I will recap both the Oswego State baseball and softball teams' spring break tournaments. You're watching Laker Connections on WTOP 10.
We believe in patriotism. We believe in our country. For 100 years, veterans have been impacting our nation through the American Legion. Learn more at legion.org/webelieve.
It's back and better than ever. One student can win up to $25 in cash. All on Oswego's favorite game show, Spin to Win! Every Sunday night at 9, only on WTOP 10 TV.
Welcome back to Laker Connections. I'm Aaron Valentino. Over spring break, the Oswego State baseball and softball teams continue their seasons down south. Ben, how did the Lakers baseball team do?
Well, Aaron, Oswego State went 8-3 over spring break in Lexington, South Carolina, including a 5-1 record against SUNYAC teams. The Lakers swept Plattsburgh State 3-0 and won the series against the College of Brockport 2-1. Oswego registered 95 runs in those 11 games, and the Lakers saw 8 different starting pitchers, led by Brian Nolan and Nick DeMarco, who won both of their starts. Oswego State's next series will take place this weekend on the road against SUNY New Paltz. And so, Aaron, obviously one of the bigger parts of this team right now is going to be potentially making it back to the College World Series. They made it last year, didn't win a game, second year in a row they've done that. Do you think they can make it back this year?
Absolutely. I think you look at the numbers. Right now they're 9-5 overall. They're 5-1 in the conference. You look at the stats. I think we're going to get them up here in just a second. Right now they're third in RBIs with 100. They're in second in walks with 81, and Cortland has 82 walks. You see the numbers right here up on the screen. They're second in average in the SUNYAC at 294. Their on-base percentage is great at 420, and they're slugging 424. This offense has really just been lighting it up these first couple of games, and now we're going to take a look at the pitching stats over here. You see they're second in walks at 44. They've just they haven't been walking a lot of guys. They're first in strikeouts per 9 at 8.68. That's higher than anybody in the SUNYAC. And once again, they're second in the SUNYAC in ERA at 4.46. I know that number seems pretty high, but compared to other teams in SUNYAC, you look at teams like Cortland and Geneseo, they have ERAs over 5. So, they're pitching better than their competition, which is always important.
And I think that's the biggest thing is that they started 8 different pitchers. They have such a deep pitching staff. After losing Robert Donnelly last year, they have a lot of top guys coming in, transfers, juniors, seniors, freshmen, whoever they are, that are really helping out. And that strikes out, they're doing really well really early on in the season.
Well, you know what they say, offense wins games, defense wins championships. Let's switch over to softball. Over the break, the Oswego State softball team flew to Kissimmee, Florida for the D9 Sun-Kiss games. The Lakers went 2-8 in these games, with their only wins coming against Stevens College and Messiah College, before going on to a 5-game losing streak at the end of those games. The Lakers struggled offensively during their last 4 games as they only scored a total of just 1 run. The Lakers got back in the win column earlier today, though, as they split a doubleheader with Clarkson. They won the first game 4-2 and losing the second game 2-1. Oswego will begin SUNYAC conference play on Friday against rival Plattsburgh. Now, Ben, obviously this team, struggled early on down in Florida over the break. What does this team have to do to, get out of their struggles? Obviously, they did win today, but before that, they had lost 5 in a row.
I think a lot of it comes down to pitching, or hitting, running, whatever have you on the offensive side. Just because pitching, they're doing perfectly fine. They added a 3rd pitcher. Last season, they had Angela Frampton and Rebecca Vilches. Vilches was the one that was kind of the maybe main starter of the 2. But now they added a 3rd pitcher in that lineup to maybe have a little bit of a rotation. But now it's going to come down to hitting. Oswego State needs to rely on its batters. Emily Nolden is leading. She's got 18 hits on 36 at-bats. 500 average. I don't expect it to stay at 500 because who does? But she's up there right now. Erin Sweeney has a 343, but Rebecca Vilches and Angela Frampton, they're at right about 100, 148, 150 for both of them. Last year they were at 378 and 374, and they both led the team. So having those 2 players are key, and especially Frampton last year, no one really knew how she was going to be. But, the pitching is fine. But it's really going to come down to Vilches and Frampton hitting. Those 2 players, the leaders on the team, really need to get something going. Offense wins championships. Don't at me.
And, just looking at some stats, their ERA is 2.78. They're pitching well. They're scoring 4.5 runs a game. They should.
That's the concern. That's the concern.
The stats, totally say a different story than what their record is. But overall, I think this team, can turn it around once conference play starts.
Definitely. But when we come back, we'll head over to the turf and talk about the success that both the men's and women's lacrosse teams had over spring break. You're watching Laker Connections on WTOP 10.
Hey, President Stanley, what's your favorite television station?
I don't know. Hey, guys, what do you think?
WTOP!
My family and friends are always with me, no matter where I may be. Sharing stories from home helps me sustain my recovery from my mental and substance use disorder.
Hi, sweetheart.
Join the Voices for Recovery, our families, our stories, our recovery.
For confidential information on mental and substance use disorders, including prevention and treatment referral for you or someone you know, call 1-800-662-HELP. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Good evening and welcome to WTOP 10 Nightly News.
Total, Baldwin faces 32 charges.
Saturday, I went to Woodchuck Saloon.
Too much temperature change.
1310 meteorologist.
2 as well. Visions from Tanner Smith.
Go to 2 and 1.
2 with 6 and 10 on the year.
It's back and better than ever. One student can win up to $25 in cash. All on Oswego's favorite game show, Spin to Win! Every Sunday night at 9, only on WTOP 10 TV.
Welcome back to Laker Connections. I'm Aaron Valentino. Each week, Oswego State honors 2 athletes for their performance on the field. This week, the honor goes to Kevin O'Donnell of the men's lacrosse team and Emily Nowenden, of the women's softball team. O'Donnell recorded 11 saves in a 12-2 victory over St. Joseph's, and then followed that with 13 saves in a 12-5 victory over Keuka. His save percentage on the season is now .625, which is good for 25th in the country. Moving over to the women's side, senior catcher Emily Nolden raked in Kissimmee, Florida, batting .542 with an on-base percentage of .577 and a slugging percentage of .708.
The SUNYAC also recognized 3 Oswego State athletes, all of the men's and women's lacrosse teams. From the women's team, Eliana Sanchez went 1-1 over the week with a loss to Utica College and a win to SUNY Fredonia. In the 23-3 win over the Blue Devils, Sanchez made 6 saves on 9 shots. On the men's side, Bobby Emerson was named Offensive Athlete of the Week. In the Oswego State's 2 wins over spring break, Emerson scored 9 goals and registered 1 assist. Goaltender Kevin O'Donnell won Defensive Player of the Week after making 2 wins and making 24 saves on 31 shots. As Aaron already said, his currently ranks 25th in the nation with a .625 save percentage.
Sticking with men's lacrosse, the Lakers battled St. Joseph's and Keuka College over spring break. In the game versus St. Joseph's, the Lakers were able to grab a victory by a score of 12-2, with 5 goals coming from senior attack Bobby Emerson. Then on Saturday, the Lakers were victorious once again as they defeated Keuka College by a score of 12-5. And this time, senior Bobby Emerson was able to grab 4 goals. The Lakers are back in action tomorrow against Utica College.
And back over to women's lacrosse, Oswego State split the 2 games it had over spring break. The Lakers suffered their first loss of the season to Utica College by a score of 11-7. Bridget Regan had 5 points coming off 2 goals and 3 assists to lead the team. Eliana Sanchez made 11 saves on 14 shots, but the Lakers bounced back to an impressive 23-3 victory over SUNY Fredonia in the first SUNY contest of the season. Led by 3 4-goal performances from Molly Beck, Tony Leneve, and Cassidy Myers, as well as a 7-assist game from Teresa Shatuk, Oswego State scored 9 straight goals before allowing 2 Blue Devil goals, and the Lakers scored 14 straight to secure the win in the final score 23-3. Oswego State plays its 6th game of the season against SUNYAC rival, the College at Brockport, tomorrow. And Aaron, what do you think women's lacrosse needs to do to stay hot after the 4-1 start and the win against SUNY Fredonia?
Well, looking at the stats, this team just scores. I mean, it's insane. You look at the numbers right here. They're scoring 19.75 goals per game. That's way higher than anybody in the SUNYAC right now. They're absolutely crushing it. They're also shooting pretty accurately as well. 59% they're shooting. I mean, it's really just unbelievable. And they're also, moving the lacrosse ball around a little bit at 11.5 assists per game. This offense is just unbelievable. They're just absolutely killing it on the offensive end. Right now they're at 4-1. They're 1-0 in the conference.
And what helps actually is that all these players are from, or not all of them, a majority of them are from the Syracuse area. They all played at, Bishop Grimes. They played at Bishop Ludden. They played at West Jenny, Liverpool, wherever. And then a lot of them played at Onondaga Community College. So they've played with each other for at least 4 years, maybe 6 years, maybe even more than that, growing up in the area. So all these players have done extremely well. But what about men's lacrosse? Obviously, one of the biggest concerns has been how they're going to do. So how do you think they're going to do keeping that hot streak as well? I
think they got to keep playing defense. That's what they're doing right now. You look at the numbers. We're going to get them on the screen in just a second. The save percentage, like we said, Kevin O'Donnell, 68.3% save percentage. You look at the goals against, 6.5 a game. That's really solid coming from the SUNYAC. These numbers are a little skewed. They've played a little less games than everybody else in the conference. But you look at goals per game, again, 11.5. That's second in the SUNYAC. If they just keep playing defense and, keep scoring at the rate they are, this team is going to be great, and they're going to move on to SUNYAC playoffs easily, I think.
And he's only a sophomore. He already has 1 year of play under his belt, which is amazing. He did great last year, and all these accolades, Defensive Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year, whatever, they do a really good job of boosting a player's confidence, especially as a sophomore and a young player who's still growing, not even considered an upperclassman yet. Does great things for a player in order to get going. But coming up after the break, Matt Watling returns to the desk as he moderates the 3rd weekly Lakers Showdown. Will I get my 2nd win of the season? Stay tuned to find out. You're watching Laker Connections on WTOT 10.
Most of us like to be out in the sun. That's why sunscreen and other safety measures are key to protecting your skin from aging and cancer. The FDA recommends using a sunscreen with an SPF of 15 or higher. Also, look for broad spectrum on the label. That means both harmful ultraviolet A and B rays are blocked. Remember, SPF plus broad spectrum equal healthy fun in the sun. Visit www.fda.gov/sunscreen for more information. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
I'm a lot more confident and a lot more sure of my abilities. At Oswego is where I really found myself and became the person I am. You work hard and you play hard. I love the environment of SUNY Oswego.
David Richey. I mean, they were. Do you think Bryce Harvey, Tommy John survivor, Nathan Evaldi?
Welcome back to Laker Connections. Matt Wilding here. Tonight, Aaron Valentino goes from moderating the debate to going up against the reigning loser of Laker Showdown,
wow,
Ben Greco.
Wow, that's a low blow.
I had to do it.
Yeah.
First off, the men's lacrosse team has not had a winning record in conference play since 2009. Will they be able to continue their non-conference success and have a winning record this year in the SUNYAC?
No, absolutely not. Oswego State's 3 wins last year were against SUNY Geneseo, SUNY Potsdam, and Oneonta. Geneseo is usually a very strong athletic program, maybe kind of like Cortland, but you know they lost to Cortland, they lost to Plattsburgh, they lost to who's the 16th? Brockport. You know, so honestly, those 3 teams are going to be crucial. They lost to Cortland in the playoffs, but okay, leading the team last year, K.O. Balford, Kyle Bacon. How many points did they have? You have a stat.
They
had 34 points each. Now, how many points did they have in conference? 11. You know what's not going to win championships? 11 points each.
It's a different team from
It's not even championships.
It's a different team from last year.
You're not going to get a winning record.
I'll let you finish.
You're not going to get a winning record, only scoring 11 points each.
Listen.
Yeah, you're too nice.
Listen, let's look at this team right now, right? They are, they're 4-1,
yep.
right?
Yep.
Kevin O'Donnell saving 68% of the shots on goal.
Okay,
that's amazing.
Look at his SUNYAC record last year.
That's 25th in the country.
Yeah, he was like 25th in the country last year. Look at his SUNYAC record.
Ben, listen. You got to think that this Lakers team is going to be able to continue this hot streak, especially with the way Kevin O'Donnell's been playing. And they are also second in the SUNYAC in goals per game at 11.5.
Whoa!
They're
How many
scoring,
games do they have?
They're scoring. They're playing defense.
They have
this team is playing better than they've played, in the past couple of years. I think absolutely they can have a winning record in this SUNYAC.
They have one game played. Talk to me when they have 4 games played, 6 games played. Talk to me when they're in SUNYAC playoffs, for God's sake. They're not getting a SUNYAC winning record. Not happening.
I completely disagree. This team's hot, and I think they're going to stay hot.
No.
They've played extremely well.
Unless they find some potential scoring in conference play, not happening.
They're second in the SUNYAC in scoring. What are you talking about?
One game in!
All right. Gentlemen, I got to give this first one to Aaron. I
Wow.
thought bringing up the goaltending, you're bringing a guy that was SUNYAC Rookie of the Year from last year. He's going to build on it. And
no, I don't like it.
Ben, you're just yelling. You need to give me the content.
I did give you the content.
But
I said 34 points. Sometimes yelling wins championships.
It took too long. Next question. You got to shorten it up a little bit. Despite losing just 2 seniors from last season, the softball team has struggled out of the gate. Will they be able to turn it around and get back to the SUNYAC playoffs like they did last year?
Go ahead, winner.
I think absolutely. They struggled in Florida. Obviously, warmer weather down there. It's cold up here in Oswego. It's a completely different environment than what it's been. The teams they played, they're never going to see again for the rest of the season. They're tougher teams too up there. We brought up the stats earlier. They have an ERA right now of 2.78. They're scoring 4.5 runs per game.
All right, get to the point.
I think they could. Don't tell me to get to the point. Listen. This team is good. I believe they're good. The numbers say so. The numbers say so. They're never going to play the teams that they played early on in the season. They were able to get a win today against Clarkson. I know that's not conference play, but they're already starting. They're back in Oswego. They're starting to win again. They're starting to get back in the swing of things.
So you're saying they're going to make the playoffs?
Yeah.
You know what's wrong?
Conference play hasn't even started yet.
All
SUNYAC
what's wrong?
teams have not played a conference game yet.
That opinion. Because guess what? When was the okay, Matt? I'm going to ask you a question because we are the same age. We were born in the same year. You were born in '98, correct?
I was born in 1999.
Okay. Anyway, so I was born in 19. Was anyone else? I don't know anyone else who was born in 98.
Just get on with your point.
Thank you, Greg.
Ben.
You were born in '98.
We have 40
When
seconds.
was the last time they had a winning record?
1998.
1998.
When was the last time they made the playoffs?
Last year. For the
That's
first time in
question.
how many years?
But that's the question. It doesn't matter their winning record. It's about getting the playoffs.
They're averaging 6 runs per game, and they only have 2.9 runs per game and 6 hits per game. If that's the beginning of the season in Florida in beautiful weather, what are they going to do in the cold weather? Absolutely nothing. It's not going to hit 70 until like
They're
August.
used to playing in the cold though. This is Oswego. This is their home
But
turf.
they hadn't played a single game in Oswego yet. They've played all in Florida in warm weather.
They played today at
flying
Oswego.
balls,
They were able to split
flying
the doubleheader.
everything, warm weather, nice
They won
oxygen.
today, though.
They're not making the playoffs.
Although it took you like 10 years to get your point, Ben, and you were wrong about my age. Although you know I was born in 1999, I'm going to give you the point. I thought you had a better
I
case.
thought you were born in 90. I thought you were like a month older than me. My bad.
All right,
I got it.
Finally, this is a doozy here.
This is a
the
doozy.
current style of baseball at most levels is home run heavy offense. You know, you see it in the MLB especially. And this year, Oswego State only has 5 home runs in 14 games played, whereas last season they had 12 in as many games. Does this contact hitting style for the Lakers bode well for their overall goal of returning to the College World Series?
Go ahead, Aaron.
Oh, you want me to go? All right, I'll go first. Listen, Matt, first off, I don't know what you're talking about. They're second in the SUNYAC They're tied for second in the SUNYAC right now in home runs with 5. So
they had
first
12
off,
last year.
Well, listen.
Don't attack me. I'm giving the point.
They are second in the SUNYAC.
So here's the
Wait,
thing.
hold on. You said I can go first. I'm not done. I like this team a lot.
Then hurry up.
I like this team a lot. You know, you look at the stats. You know, they're drawing walks. They're getting on base. They're slugging well. Their slugging percentage is .424. That's good for second best in the SUNYAC. And pitching wins championships. This team pitches 4.46 ERA. It seems high. It's better than most of the teams in the SUNYAC. Every team in the SUNYAC, I think except Cortland or maybe it's New Paltz, has an ERA under 4. They're pitching well. You know, they're not drawing a lot of walks. They're striking people out. Strikeouts per 9.
Okay, now here's the thing.
8.68 a game.
I agree with you that the contact hitting is a much better deal. It's doing them much better. But 2 years ago, when they made the College World Series, even 3 years ago when they made it to the regionals, last year when they made the College World Series, they had a lot of home runs. They had 12 home runs. 2 years ago, Brian Hamilton, had 13 home runs himself.
To score
runs.
Look at the Red Sox. You want to talk about the majors? Look at the Red Sox.
Is it helpful?
They won. The Red Sox won the World Series this year. I think.
How many home runs did they hit?
Not as much as teams like the Yankees or the Astros.
But here's the thing.
Listen,
when you can hit home runs, listen. Here's the thing, though. Before we run out of time, before I get to my really gut punch,
Get to your gut punch.
Get to my gut punch
now.
Okay, there's only 3 players that I think can be home run hitters, and only one of them was in the top 3 last year. That's Mike Delacari. If he hits the singles,
if you're getting on base, you can score.
How many singles does it take to get a run?
4.
How many times?
Yeah, sure. But they're getting on base.
Assuming there's no extra base hits, just singles.
Matt, you said before the show.
Singles.
Guys, Ben, you didn't really give a point.
My point is, I don't think they can.
No, we don't have time to make a point. Aaron wins because you didn't give a point. That's it. Aaron won the entire debate because you didn't make a point, Ben.
Yeah.
That's the only reason. Don't get upset. It's all on you. But that's all the time we have tonight. Tune in next week to get the latest on everything related to Oswego State athletics, only on WTOP 10.
Get out of here.